Welcome to I'm From the Internet, a podcast about the internet, its users, and their consequences. I am disgraced comedian Winslow Dumaine, sitting here with internet historian Jay Brandstetter. Jay, how have you been, man?
I'm pretty good. Like doing this episode with you is making me think about Beanie Babies, like ones I had, like when I was a kid. Like, do you have any past experience with Beanie Babies when you were growing up?
I had three. I had the little purple platypus, and then I had the extra big platypus, and then I had the tiny platypus. I had all three. Those are my three Beanie Babies, because I have always been into whatever weird outside animal or outsider thing that there could be. Like I've even since I was the youngest the youngest memories I have, I've always been like, whatever shit is currently popping off and popular is bad shit. I don't want anything to do with that. I want something that's on the outside. Everybody else had like cats and bears and dogs, and that was their favorite thing. I'm like, I like this guy that secretes milk into a dimple on its ass. That's what I like. I like the electric duck, you know? Those were my three Beanie Babies, but I did have a big stuffed Felix the cat, and now my niece has a Felix the cat too, which is pretty cute. So that's the extent of. I think that's the extent. I was never like a stuffed animal guy at all.
Yeah.
How about you?
With my family, like my family, my parents didn't really like us getting collectibles, so we never really had Beanie Babies like when they were big. I remember I'd go to friends sometimes, like go to their houses. One of them had like an entire basket full of Beanie Babies, like dozens of them. Like, and I was like in third grade, like to the point where you could like climb into it and just cover yourself in these things and be like, oh man, there's so many Beanie Babies. They were objects of desire. I definitely get why they were popular, but also. I finally did get some because in 1998, when they did the second round of teeny Beanie Babies, which we might talk about in this episode, my mom was working at McDonald's when it was happening, so she took home all the teeny Beanies. So that was like after years of not having them, we had a full set of these new ones. It was really it was really cute to get to play with them. Yeah,
there's a few things I want to say there, but I do like that the thought of your child head is just going, oh man, there are so many Beanie Babies, which is just. Dog, you're not wrong. I don't know. I was going through a really fucking bad period in my life recently, and I saw a Squishmallow on the side of the road that had been run over so many times it had turned into basically like a crushed Frisbee. And I think that's the most spiritually evocative stuffed animal that I've seen in a long time. But yeah, it just like they just always kind of bounced off of me. But kind of the same way that like Baby Yoda has like blown the fuck up for Star Wars, making teeny Beanie Babies Beanie Babies were already babies. Now we have preemie Beanie Babies. It's Beanie just
preemies.
Beanie Preemies, which is like that's a new Taco Bell item. It's their burrito sliders called menu. Beanie Preemie. Beanie Preemies Taco Bell sliders. Oh, dude, that's. I might have to tell the world about that before this episode drops. Yeah, that's funny. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so I never really had them, but I had like I don't know. I always just had like the little I don't know. I fuck with like Micro Machines. Those were sick. Like if I could go back in time and hang out with me, I would do three things. I would have a stern talking to with young Winslow about stop being such an asshole. You're not the most important person in the world. You're not that fucking cool. Be nice. And then I would kick everyone's ass if they were ever mean to me. And I would also buy young me so many fucking Micro Machines. My life would have been quantifiably better if I had those tiny ass hyper realistic tanks. I didn't like the big toy soldiers, like the big dolls with all the clothing and shit. I don't give a fuck about that because that's the story of one guy. I don't care about one guy. I liked the toy soldiers that were like the size of a dime, dude. Because then you could have like 500 of them and you could have like a whole war. That was where it's at. That's what I liked.
when I was a little kid, my grandpa had some tin soldiers he let me play with a few times, like really old ones. It was neat because they stand up on the carpet because they're metal and they're heavy. It was, you know, I was like, okay, yeah, I see this has a nice hand feel. Like, I guess that's like the closest I ever got to being a tungsten cube guy. I was playing with those tin soldiers and be like, yeah, this feels nice.
The classic type of guy that we all know and love, the tungsten cube guy. That's fun. Well, I don't know, man. Those were my favorite toys. And like, I mean, dude, we could do a whole episode. We'll eventually have to do an episode about Bionicle because that is actually a really interesting. Lego as a company is really interesting, but Bionicle as a whole was just like the new metal of Lego, and they have a whole story there too.
Well, I'm pretty sure they had a website as part of their thing. So if you want to write that could totally be a switching of the hats episode. Winslow presents
that would
Bionicles.
Be great. Yeah, dude, but we'd have to fucking. I need to find.
You got lots of stuff on your plate, so I'm not counting it. By all means, don't feel like
we're still waiting on our like 9-part series that I've got cooking in the background, but yeah. We'll get to it at some point in time. Anyways, we left off talking about the proposed resale value of Beanie Babies. And I don't know if this was like the very number one Beanie Baby, but it was definitely high up there is Peanut the elephant that had a color change from navy to a kind of a light kind of a mottled light pink and blue, or blue and pink kind of thing, from what I could tell. And over the break, I looked up the most recent completed sales on eBay for Beanie Babies to see if people were actually making big ticket sales for these. And because you have an image up here of like people trying to sell these Beanie Babies for $7,000, and none of them are selling, right? All of the top listed Beanie Babies that have crazy astronomical prices are all slashed through because they accepted an offer that's in like an undisclosed offer, so we can't know how much they were. But the most recent high ticket Beanie Baby sold was in February of this year, and it was, I think, $2,400 for a mint inbox, I believe, signed baby, the original Peanut the elephant. So like, it looks like the most recent one, like the highest ticket that we ever had, was in this year. So there's still probably some collectors doing this because of, you know, Bitcoin money, or because they don't care about their grandkids or something like that. But there's still technically money in a small handful of extremely rare Beanie Babies of the billions they made.
Yeah, basically before they were famous, the ones before they were really collectibles are the ones that are actually
before they fucking sold out. Yeah,
yeah. Beanie Babies used to stand for something. Damn it, those babies used to have integrity.
They used to be punk.
So basically, there's this sort of feedback loop that happens where there's this big sale of the Peanut the elephant. It's the most valuable sale that's ever happened. It gets reported on, and that draws more people into Beanie Baby trading and causes more speculation, causes this feedback loop. Like, the closest modern comparison I can think of, it's like when Beeple sold his NFT, and that's when all of a sudden everyone kind of became aware of NFTs because it was making headlines like, this one NFT transaction made all this money. Or like even back in the 80s, like the baseball cards, like the Honus Wagner card, that's selling for a ridiculous amount of money, kind of kickstarted this boom in baseball card collecting. People like, wait, those things are worth that much money? Like, whenever there's a huge, sometimes, as we learned with NFTs, sometimes even they even intentionally do these like, just to try and get attention. It sucks, like, you know.
Right, and yes, I mean, like, there's so many things to say here, but like, look at the Red Letter Media guys talking about the quote unquote market for mint VHS tapes. Which is completely inflated. It was just a rug pull. It was like a physical rug pull that didn't involve a crypto coin, right? They were just like, oh, I have a brand new factory sealed Raiders of the Lost Ark or whatever, and they're selling it for some astronomical amount of money, right? One thing to note that I think is kind of like de-radicalizing, I guess would be the phrase I would use. It removes the wool from your eyes, I suppose. Is to look at like the I don't know if this is the term they use, but like the A- grade of a mint so to speak, Pokemon card or a baseball card or whatever that's being sold, look at what it takes for it to be considered A minus. It is like a single glue-on is out of space on your card. It is like the finest possible thing that is wrong with this card, and now it is worth like a percentage, like a large percentage of less money, right? And so if you're thinking that you have valuable baseball cards, unless you literally never touch them with human hands, unless you were a child walking around with those richly rich white baptismal gloves, your cards are not worth anything. You need to just get a real job. There's nothing there. And I say that because I don't know if you know this, but I think it's like the third most valuable Pokemon card. You might know where I'm going with this. And it's like Charizard is like the most valuable one, and then I think Mew or something like that is another really crazy valuable one, just because they were like the most popular and people wanted it the most. The next one is Jigglypuff. I believe it's Jigglypuff, because the card has a silver foil for her, the little music notes that she's singing. And the kind of foil that they used to make those cards was just thinner on like a molecular level. And so to find an A+ grade of that card is crazy rare, because the foil chips off really easily. And so it's not a highly desirable card. It's not a powerful card to use in competitive play. It's none of those things. It is simply for the fact that to get an A+ graded version of that exact card, it is statistically way, way, way harder than to find any A+ grade Charizards out there. I just think that stuff's really interesting.
Yeah, even I agree totally. Like when I talked about how sometimes those are manufactured, like when they did with game collecting, the same thing kind of happened. Where it's like, oh, this guy sold a copy of Super Mario 64 for $1 million, like one of the most common games of its generation. You know, like, it's just that's why I don't mess with that stuff. Like it's kind of a you can't con it on his man thing. Like a lot of these things on some level, people are kind of buying into the idea of like, yeah, it's bullshit, but it's bullshit I can make money off of. I'm just like, nah, I'm not going to mess with that. You know.
Yeah, I like. I don't know. How do I phrase this in a way that doesn't sound like I'm too proud of myself? But like just earlier today, technically, I don't know. It's like, I don't know what time it is in Vietnam, but like I have a whole thing set up where people are trying to buy my game in far, far away parts of the world where it's like $170 to ship it to them. It's so much. But like, I'll just move the numbers around until it's like, hey man, I won't ask you to pay all of the shipping. Like, I'm not going to make that much money from it, like, at all. But a bunch of people have my game now in another part of the world. That's so fucking cool. Yeah, it's just, no part of me likes the manufactured scarcity. You know what I mean?
It's only there just to make the speculation. Like, it doesn't add anything to the product or as the consumer. It's just like, oh, this could potentially be worth more later. And I think especially once you realize the trick and get the antibodies to that fear of missing out, it just becomes very exhausting to deal with.
Yeah. I do know a brief side note, because I think I've mentioned him before. He's a friend of mine. He's a good dude. I like him a lot. His name is Space Wolf on I think it's just Space Wolf on Instagram. He's a tremendously talented, very technical artist who does like a lot of cool horror sci-fi art. I see him at shows all the time. And he has a thing where he will make a run of prints of his new piece. And then if it's a digital piece, he runs the prints. He'll do some color variations. He could have it be crazy popular, sell out in an hour. And then when he's done, he never sells it again. He does hand-numbered everything, and he deletes the original files, which is fascinating to me. And he's just like, yeah, that's it. That's part of the deal, is like, now I have to make something new. And I'm like, whew. He's not doing that to create scarcity. He's just like, I do that because I don't want to be selling the same shit for 1,000 years. I'm like, that's not a bad idea. Because I don't like selling my old stuff that much either. But yeah, scarcity. Anyways, Beanie Babies.
Beanie Babies, yeah. But even like the Wall Street Journal, they're pretty regularly writing about Beanie Babies as this fad is going down. It was almost presented as kind of aspirational. Like some of the headlines, like Beanie Baby collectors wheel a deal on the web in June of 1998, or Beanie Bonanza. You know, this opening line is pretty incredible. It's 10 a.m. Do you know where your children are? If they are like millions of others, they are playing the stock market. Not the one you know, but the stock up on them Beanie Baby market. Like, that tortured pun. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. Yeah, but it is very aspirational.
Definitely. It has this idea of like, oh, your kids could have this in their room right now. Like there was something very relatable and approachable to it. Ty Warner is writing this to the bank the whole time.
Yeah, he's running to the bank the whole time. Have we gotten into, or will we get into, the way that Beanie Babies, they were sold in like, yeah, we talked about the LuLaRoe thing, where like a store could buy like a flat of Beanie Babies and they would get all sorts of different ones, but they didn't have that much control over which ones they would get. It
wasn't like a loot box model like that. It was more like you were only allowed to order a certain number of each type, and also they'd be like, oh, your order's been delayed. Oh, this one's late. Like I didn't include, there was a whole thing about how like some people just straight up would not work with them. Like, yeah, it's where all the money is, but they're such a pain to work with. Like they were very much taking advantage of their position here.
Yeah, I think that's everything this guy's ever done was about taking advantage of a position. But here he is again, posed up. He's actually smiling, but he's completely covered in different Beanie Babies. And again, they are just aesthetically, they are for literally 1 and 2 year olds. That's like their design market, you know, like so they're very, very, very simple. What am I? I'm 34, sitting here being like, oh, this Beanie Baby does not entice me. Who gives a shit, Winslow? Fuck. God, hey, this baby food tastes like shit. Yeah, dude.
This Beanie Baby has neither beads nor babies in it. 0 out of 10.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah. But this Ty, now that he's like a multimillionaire, the success is getting to his head. He's doing stuff like, he's not only just getting obsessive cosmetic surgery, he's also like pressuring his partner at the time to try and get it with him. Like he wants to get like matching stuff. Like,
matching stuff is so funny. Just like we're both gonna get tits. God damn it, I'm saying tits again. We're both like we'll see. Here's what we do: is we both get a facelift, but they just attach pins to my forehead and pins to yours, and then they have a thing in the middle, and they just yank down, and then it just pulls it back like that. Yeah, matching cosmetic surgery is like the most 90s horrifying thing that you've ever heard, I think. Just, oh, God.
His and hers rhinoplasty appointments. Ugh.
Oh, God. Yeah. No, thanks. Like everything that I'm reading here, it is exactly the kind of thing that I will never be, and exactly the kind of thing that I expected him, because it says here he was secretly installing bugs in his ex-girlfriend's office, quote, allegedly, which I would not put past him at all.
Oh, yeah. That didn't even make it a document. There was a whole thing with his like ex-wife and other partners. Like if you read the book, a lot of it is about his interpersonal drama, but I didn't think it was that interesting or relevant for the show. Yeah.
And this really strikes me as the same kind of thing from the Lisa Frank documentary, like the Rainbow Gulag of Lisa Frank, of just like the happiest possible product of the most miserable possible people, just like massive relationship issues, screaming arguments, just huge fucking problems. Yeah, all of this tracks. It says here that he has a huge grudge against the concept of toll roads. Just throw pennies and keep driving. It's an illegal tax, he'd shout. I'm on the fence about that, because I get it, because like the idea they would build the toll to pay for the road, and then they just never tear it down, and so it's just like a profit for a private company that built the road that there's a whole thing to it. But again, he's just being a dick to the service worker who's just doing their job at the toll box. Like it's still, it views everyone else as being beneath him, so I'm not surprised there.
Yeah, this future billionaire being like, just throw some pennies in there while you drive by, they won't care.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Another one was he tried to pull Beanie Babies from a 300 location British retailer because they broke the rules of distributors. They put their price sticker tag on the hang tag, which is the little heart-shaped tie logo. Uh-huh. And so you're not allowed to do that. And he went to the store to inspect the merchandise and saw that. And he like had a temper tantrum and was like threatening to pull the entire store's carrying over it.
I mean, where else would you put it? Just on the back of the thing, I guess? I don't know. But then again, these all maybe... This was a time where they all kind of had the same price point, so maybe you don't even need a price tag on them. You could just be like, Beanie Babies are X amount.
Yeah, and then just scan them.
But I also do appreciate a guy who just hates his own fans. I think that's always kind of funny. Very open contempt for the Chicago collectors and how they were profiting off of him, even if they were making him incredibly rich in the process. He hated us. He hated us. He absolutely hated us, and I never understood why. I don't know what the deal was and why it made him so angry. Yeah, I get it. Just like an incorrigible fuck, sounds like.
Yeah, him feuding with his adult fans is very fun, too. Yeah, part of it's just the control freak thing of like, no, these are my stuffed animals. You don't get to have ownership of this. But also part of it is like, yeah, there will be some fun examples as we go through.
It's the Mitch Hedberg thing of Reese's peanut butter cups. He's like, Reese's apostrophe S. That means it belongs to Reese. He could just come up and be like, let me have one, and you have to give it to him. That's why he put Ty on it. All of those are his toys, and eventually he's going to ask for them back.
And he's going to reincorporate them back into him.
And he's just going to have this, like, the largest mattress of Beanie Babies. I want to see the math of how many Beanie Babies were sold, and, like, if you put them all together, could you, like, I don't know, like size of a small town.
Like, yeah, if we ever got insanely rich, like our version of like the Red Letter Media destroying all the action figures, we'd be buying like a lot of Beanie Babies and just being like making stuff with them or destroying them.
Yeah,
how many beans are in this crate of Beanie Babies? Let's find out.
Yeah, and just, I mean, how much of the plastic in your blood right now can trace its lineage directly back to Beanie Babies?
Yeah, it's like mitochondrial Eve. You can just track all the way back.
It's mitochondrial Eve. Oh, that's so good. That's such a good reference. Jesus.
Thank you. Yeah. Welcome to the Beanie Baby podcast that's doing Bio 201 references.
Yeah, fuck.
Cool. Well, we have a cool person now, thankfully, after all that. So this is the cool person of the episode, Lena Trivedi, the woman who created the Beanie Babies website. So here's a picture of her when she started working at the warehouse around this time in the mid-90s. She's in college when she makes this website. So she starts working at the warehouse when she's 19. She's their 12th employee.
Dude, she's got some aspirational style here. I mean, this is obviously like an old photo, but she's got like black jeans, a big chunky belt, a very big patterned shirt, but these like big cool ass white cowboy boots and the teased out hair. Like, I want to see her full color. Yeah, she looks really cool, and she's hugging like 3 enormous like Gengar sized Beanie Babies, if you know what I mean. You know, Beanie Babies that's big enough to fuck is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, she's posted up with them, looking like she's having a great time.
Yeah, and I found there's another one where there's her like from a couple years ago recreating it.
Oh wow,
so, she's in her 50s though. She looks amazing. She's like,
oh my god, yeah,
she's done some cool stuff. But yeah, it's neat that she's gotten a little more attention and appreciation over the past couple years for her role in Beanie.
She wearing the same shirt? She might be. Yeah. Yeah, she did. She went out of her way to really recreate it, but you can see that her hair is much less teased now. But wow, good for her.
Yeah, she's really cool. And her chapter in The Great Beanie Bubble is titled "The $12 per Hour Sociology Major Who Made Ty Warner a Billionaire," and that says it all. That's kind of her role in this. She's the person who made the website. Not just that, though. I was surprised to learn too. So.
Yeah, there's always somebody underneath these that's making nothing, and the other person gets $1 billion. So
exactly, the person doesn't get to own it because they weren't high enough on the chain. But yeah, just from what the author of the book said, that Ty was very aggressive and abusive with his peers or people who he saw as a threat. But his hourly employees, the people who like, kept their heads down and knew their places, he was much nicer and much more pleasant with them. And so one of the things was like at the warehouse, Ty would ask the hourly employees about Beanie Baby designs and ask for feedback. And Lena was the one person there who would actually give critical responses. And he found that endearing, that instead of just like sucking up to him, she'd be like, I don't know, I think those eyes look ugly. Have you tried this or something? And so that sort of worked on it. And and so she actually wound up having a little bit of an involvement in the design of them. Like the fact that there are poems and birthdays on their little tags is something that she came up with. That was an idea that she had brainstormed, and she wrote the first batch of poems all herself, like in a couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, all of that little lanyards, the little extra thing that you give somebody is probably very crucial to people's emotional attachment to these things. To give it more of a backstory and more of a soul, all of that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, suggested personality without alienating anyone. It's interesting part, yeah. And then so 1995 is when she approaches Ty about making a website because she's in college at the time. She's studying for sociology degree, and she encounters the internet for the first time at her campus, and she finds Beanie Baby websites on the early internet. And to give you an example of how special it is, this is 1995. 40% of adults in America went online at all in 1995. Like when the Pew Research just polled people, have you gone online this year? Only 40% answered yes in 1995. So that's small of a group. And there are still like multiple Beanie Baby communities and websites and stuff dedicated to collecting these things.
Because it's just a type of person. It's just like an extra, there's an extra step to it, some sort of obsessiveness or needing to collect, needing to arrange, needing something like that. It's just a type of person that goes up there. It's the same reason why the early memes of the internet were like Lord of the Rings and Monty Python and Star Trek. Because that's who went online. People who liked numbers and liked collecting.
Exactly. Yeah. Speaking of numbers, this did make me curious about online adoption. So I tried to pull up the rest of the 90s. So yeah, 1995, 14% of adults are online. 1996, we're at 23% of adults online. That's when my family joined, when my dad got a computer really early through work, all things considered. Yeah, 1997, we're at 36% of adults. 1998, 41. Then by the year 2000, 46. 2005, 66. By 2010, 79% of adults are online. And that jump, it's so quickly. You can see how in the course of the 90s, we go from a tenth to half. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and I wonder, that remaining 13%, because the poll stops in 2014, maybe there are some people who just don't have a phone and do not ever use the internet. Maybe that's the thing. I guess if you're including homeless people, which I doubt they're including those in the Pew Research Center, I wonder how many of those people think that going online means sitting down at a computer and going onto the Google. I wonder how many of these people just think, well, yeah, I don't go online. I just look it up on my phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it seems like it seems so ubiquitous, but interesting.
Yeah. But I was just curious about that. But yeah, and also interesting about this is that they get their website in 1995. Barbie didn't get a website until 1986, and Matchbox Cars didn't get their site until 1998. So they are ahead of the biggest companies that are ostensibly the head of the industry that they're trying to compete in. They're that ahead of the curve. They're I pulled up this Barbie site from 1997 just to give an example of what their sites looked like. But yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a fan site.
Yeah, it is very it's like a template that you would use on some sort of Dreamweaver thing.
I was going to say exactly that, dude. It looks like a Dreamweaver website. That's so funny because that's what my website was. Yeah.
Yeah, so by comparison, the oldest Beanie Baby site I could find, archive.org, is from the end of 1996. So I pulled up, and here we go, the official website of Ty Incorporated for the Beanie Babies. You can see just very simple. We have little animated GIFs of them on the side that were stop motion animated, so they're dancing. They have a little page counter with millions of views, just listing information about Beanie Babies.
The only page counter I've ever given a fuck to look at, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, and there they are announcing the retiring of the next Beanie Babies of 1997. It's definitely a website that is unpleasant on the eyes, and I just think that looking back at this, we just don't have the tools to make this kind of shit anymore. I don't know. I've seen so many games and ARGs or whatever that try to capture the magic of early internet, and our minds are so occupied with the modernity of the internet, which is so fast and quick and clean and easy, that we forget that there's a whole chapter of it that was just so clunky and ugly. And I just don't think that a person who's 29 could figure out how to make a website that looks so genuinely bad now.
They have blue text and the background is like a tie-dye pattern that has blue in it. So some of it's just unreadable. It's like fading into the background. So,
yeah, it's super unreadable. It's also like just all this extra shit, like copyright information on your website. I don't know if you really need that, but whatever. But like it's also before like the vector graphics made things look crisp and sharp. And so you can see that this is a website. You know, it literally says best viewed with Netscape Navigator, right? So this website was probably designed for 800 by 600. And like, you know, obviously our computers now are like an 800 by 600 image is like the size of a thimble. An angel couldn't even dance on it. So you see all these crunchy, like the crunchy lines and like the crunchy little pixelation of everything. It just looks so genuinely shit. And it would take so much work to remake something to look this bad today. I don't know. I just think that stuff is interesting. Like the way that like period piece movies we can buy a bunch of cars that look like they're from the 1940s, but we don't know how to make a website look like it's from 1997. We just don't have the recipe.
Oh yeah, like every frame of those GIFs has different artifacts on it. It's so good.
Yeah, really crunchy.
Yeah, and like one of the things they offered was they had a printable list of all the Beanie Babies that had been made, so you could go up and just get a nice printable format.
No pictures, for the record. It's just the list, which is it's black. This whole page is black and white, and it is just, you can imagine like the dull roar of like drone music that is being played in the skull of the person typing up Spot the dog, a white dog. Tabasco the bull, a red bull. Zip the cat, a black cat. On and on. It's just, there's no pictures. It's just so funny. I don't know. How many designs do you think they've ever made?
I think there are several hundred at this point.
Yeah, there's got to be so many.
Yeah. Oh, so that does remind me, the Spot the Dog, that is another one of the sort of famous misprints, was there was a batch of Spot the Dogs that didn't have the spot. So that was just conceptually pretty funny. Like, you had one job. Give this dog a spot.
I have it pulled up here. There are some estimates exceeding 9,000 different Beanie Babies. But there's 800 animal styles.
Okay, is that real, or is that just doing a 9,000 joke on the summary?
I mean, it says, it doesn't say over 9,000. It says exceeding 9,000, which I guess would be a funnier translation of it's exceeding 9,000. But yeah, that's crazy. Legs the frog, Squealer the pig, Flash the dolphin, Splash the whale. Okay. Yeah, you get it. Nobody's gaining anything to their life by me reading a list of Beanie Baby names.
Oh, yeah, no. So Lena, she not only made the website, but she updated it regularly and created what we now call content for it. She had like little blog posts and such on there. Like, would you like to read this bit? It goes places.
Yeah, sure. One of Trivedi's first creations was the Info Beanie. Every month, Tie.com users voted for which Beanie Baby they wanted to be their source of information. Trivedi would then upload a post every few hours with updates written in the voice of that animal. Vague gossip about what was going on at Tie, allusions to new product lines, and hints about when retirements might be coming and which Beanie Babies might be affected. On May 3rd, 1997, for instance, Nanook, the husky, wrote of the difficulty he was having finding one of the other beanies in the nursery. The only thing that I've noticed, I don't know if this means anything or not, but I've not seen Stripes anywhere in the last few weeks. Where is Stripes? He was not even at my birthday party. I was sad about that because everyone was there. I've been trying to find Garcia to tell him, but he's so hard to track down because when he's not running around and trying to find this or that Beanie Baby, he's undercover. He hides in different places and just waits to see if anything happens. You know what's going to happen? 8 days later, under legal pressure from the Jerry Garcia estate, the tie-dyed bear was renamed Peace, and Garcia's value rose dramatically, immediately enriching speculators who bought based off of the Info Beanie's hints rather than waiting for the official announcement. Dude, it's like the QAnon shit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's interpretive.
Like they're baking the drops. It's so funny. Except, yeah, it's the Beanie Babies giving them hints about which one is going to die next or which one's coming out for them. Also, it's the idea of like Jerry Garcia, like a state, being like, all right, come on. We know what you're doing here. So at least the Jerry Garcia people asked us first and we signed off on it. Come on.
Yeah, interesting. It is very much like SoundCloud rappers saying big things coming soon, or like, like watch this space. Even though I do that all the time, but it's the same kind of concept. That's funny that they just kind of leave it up to interpretation, which is probably extremely frustrating for investors. At this time, was it a publicly traded company?
No, it's privately owned the whole time. That's one of the things about it. Wow. They don't have to disclose stuff. It's it all goes to Ty. It's Ty Inc.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean, he probably couldn't have gotten much bigger if he went public.
Yeah, and there's another one I want to read. It's a little long, but this is another really internet-focused one, so I'll read it because I think this is worth having on here too. It says, on January 1st, 1997, Trivedi posted an announcement listing 9 pieces that were to be retired. Trivedi had decided it would be fun to announce the retirement with a 40-minute-long shockwave animation featuring Kiwi the Toucan, one of the retiring Beanies, performing a magic show, with the voices provided by Lena and her brother. The millions of users trying to load the animation rendered the site unavailable for most of the day, and many collectors, confused and frustrated, had their first brush with the addictive power of the internet. Sarah Nelson, who ran BeanieMom.com, had invited friends over for dinner that night. I spent all of New Year's Day hitting reload, as did countless other collectors, she later remembered. My guests arrived for dinner, and I was barely civil, constantly hitting reload, almost certain I'd missed the magical moment when the announcement was made. Finally, sometime after 9 p.m., long after my guests had left, the announcement finally appeared. However, most people had to download Shockwave in order to view it, and that could take an hour on a dial-up modem. Nelson, who already had Shockwave and a high-speed connection, was one of the first to get it to load. When she posted the list of retirees to her Beanie Mom site, traffic hit a record high. Peggy Gallagher called her in the middle of the night and asked her to hold her computer speaker up to the phone for 40 minutes so that she could hear Kiwi the Toucan make the announcement. The retirement announcement was a massive success. Traffic to the site soared 3,500% in one day, and for the first time, prices rose instantly as the information was assimilated into the marketplace. So, beautiful illustration of the internet entering these people's lives and the effects it's having.
Yeah, every single person involved in this story was at January 6th. Every single person involved. Yeah. It's I mean, it is intoxicating because it is just like the internet is this thing that you put in very, very, very little, and then sometimes this massive thing comes out of it. Like just the other day at my shows, I mean, I think you probably saw I posted about it. At the Oddities show, I have this big new sign hanging in front of my card game that just says AI is for cowards. Come check out my hand-drawn horror. And it's big letters. AI is for cowards. Somebody took a picture of that and posted it in the anti-AI art group on Facebook. It has like 50,000 likes, dude. And thousands of shares, and then it made it to all of these other groups, and now it's blowing up on Twitter, and it's like all because I just put up a sign that I didn't think a single person would even read.
And the way it's framed, like your business name is right on there as well as like your products. Like it is such a good advertisement for you.
It's like it was crazy. And so like now the lead writer of Borderlands 3 and 4 follows me because they like that sign, which is very funny. And Billy Mays. Billy Mays the Third has been following me for a minute, and he liked the sign too, which I think is really funny. He's very sweet. He's a great guy.
He seems like a cool guy.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it is one of those things where it's just like, it's the Chicago rat hole where like I just had this website where I talk about Beanie Babies, and now suddenly people are calling me desperate for me to help them with their product. And it's just like, it's very mercurial, the internet. You know what I mean? Like it's very unclear when something is just going to just rocket into prosperity or rocket into significance, Yeah,
especially when bubbles are already volatile like that. Like there's already usually this element of somebody who's like the soothsayer or like the person who's like forecasting things, and now it's just like been decentralized.
Yeah, it is kind of like everything, it is kind of a very abstract slot machine of like everything that you put on this is ticking away it's you're pulling the arm on the slot machine to get. Maybe you'll get a response this time. Maybe you'll get more likes. Maybe you'll get more traction. And that's just social media, but it also extends to like everything that you do on the internet. Maybe someday it'll make you huge, you know?
We don't have to read this whole thing, but there's a wonderful quote where Peggy Gallagher, she had a monthly radio show on WGN. And at one point she had a quote where she goes, if you start watching Ty's website, the Beanies will start talking in the nursery like 2 or 3 weeks ahead of time. The Beanies start giving clues. There's warnings that something's going to happen. There's like a new rumor every week. Like out of context, someone like talking about how they're committing haruspicy with like Beanie Babies is very funny. Like, the Beanie Babies are trying to tell us something.
Yeah. It's cryptic posting will drive someone crazy when you do it like that. That's like the whole core of QAnon, of just like interpretive things. It's the simplest thing in the world, because one person will hear one thing, another person will hear another, and they both post about it. They both disagree, and they both post at least one more time voicing their disagreement. And now if you just said, these are the things that are going to happen, you get one response to it. If you say, perhaps the full moon will light on Snowball the leopard, that's going to be 50 different posts of people going, what the fuck are you talking about? And now you've got 50 more posts. You know, that's how you get it going. Get people asking questions.
With all this new internet focus, the thing that really ties it together is they start advertising their webpage on the hang tags. At the very bottom, underneath the poem, it would say on every one, visit our webpage with 3 exclamation points, and then the full http://www.ty.com, like old school. And yeah, like a lot of people, like even in my own Discord, I was posting about this, like most people have said like that Ty.com was the first website they ever went to because it was the only website they knew about, because they had a Beanie Baby and it had a website address printed on it before other things were. It was pretty interesting to think about how many people Lena affected with those posts that she made, because kids check these things.
I don't know enough about the internet to know if you need to have the http://ty www.ty.com. Because I know that there have been times in my life where I've tried to type in a browser or type in a website and it didn't work until I put in all of the extra stuff at the start. I don't know enough about any of that shit at all. But yeah, it is funny to see a poem squished right in the middle of all of this other technical stuff here. Yeah. Radar the bat flies late at night. He can soar to an amazing height. If you see something as high as a star, take a good look. It might be radar.
Yeah. Okay. And of course, I got to post it because he's a bat.
Okay. Yeah, with his blood red eyes. That's a cute one. Yeah. I'll take it.
Yeah. And so, yeah, this is a huge success. Like, I have a quote from Ty to Lena. He said, from now on, devote all your time to the website. If anyone asks you to do anything else, tell them to come talk to me. Like, he knows he's onto something good here. He has someone who's in their early 20s who is getting paid like $12 an hour, who's making this giant attention revenue thing, who doesn't really know how much she's worth, basically.
Yeah, so she's Malkador the Sigillite to his Emperor of Mankind. You know, like, just you're a completely different person than me, from a very different bloodline, but I need you to make all of this shit work while I work on the webway to keep the chaos. Whatever, we don't need to get into it, but you know what I mean. It is interesting when there is like a not like president to vice president relationship, but president to like web design person relationship. Obviously, I wish that she got more money, but. Yeah, it is just an interesting dynamic. From a storytelling aspect, not from a feminist aspect. She definitely deserved more money.
Yeah, and also Ty started doing this really insufferable thing where when he had to post stuff online about the company, he would post it like as one of the Beanie Babies, so he didn't have to have his name on it. I have a little passage here. It says, when people wrote to Ty Inc. to ask why beanies weren't available in big box stores, it was a Beanie Baby that responded that he was afraid of being in a building with high ceilings. It was also a Beanie Baby that took to the website to defend his friends on the Thai legal team, whose aggressive litigiousness had resulted in disillusioned message board chatter. Sometimes retailers wrote to the site to complain about slow shipping and incomplete order fulfillment, and they too would receive an unhelpful response from a Beanie Baby. Just that like infantilizing, like, hey, I'm just a little guy.
I mean, there's so many different, like, it's hard to think of any joke that could play on that more than just doing that exact thing. But it's like, imagine Jeff Dunham gets Me Too'd, and then he responds with Peanut going like, I didn't touch that girl at all. And like, he, like, come on, like, you're responding with your Beanie Babies? Like, even I have like a comedy kind of patter when I'm talking with manufacturers and stuff like that. But even I'm like, okay, yes, thank you. This is the exact measurement. These are the things that I need to do. But yeah, the idea of responding with a Beanie Baby about getting sued. You for sure.
Seriously, out of character, where's my order? I need to know.
Yeah. There's got to be a code word. Is there a code word that you can use with, like, in character actors at like Disney? I think the code word is I have a gun. But
we got to code Katzenberg.
yeah. There's got to be something like that you can be like, no, for real, my kid's going into like anaphylactic shock. Get me help as soon as possible. I don't care if you're Gaston. You need to help me. Yeah.
Nobody stands by and does nothing like Gaston. Please, my son is dying.
Nobody chokes on his own tongue like Gaston.
Oh, great. Yeah, actually, this next part, you had asked about this a little earlier. So, yeah, Thai Inc. is privately owned, so they have self-reported figures for their income and profit this time. So, 1996, their sales were reported $280 million. 1997, they reported a profit of over $700 million. By comparison, Hasbro and Mattel combined only made $560 million in profit this year. So, they are making more money than their two biggest competitors combined. Like, that is how much money they're making in 1997. In 1998, their sales are up to $1.3 billion. And then 1990, so it's going to keep going up. In 1997, in addition to being that, that record profit, it's also big for them because that was the year that they did the teeny Beanie Babies with McDonald's as part of their Happy Meal toys. This is like, that was what really made it, because that's, even if you weren't somebody who went to these stores, now you were aware of it just from McDonald's. Like,
this was their Szechuan sauce, right?
Exactly. This was the original Szechuan sauce.
Yeah, and it's... okay, I'm surprised that we haven't hit a part in this story where someone somewhere has cooked up a thing about how Beanie Babies are actually satanic. Because every time something like this blows up, there's some Christian somewhere that's like, finding some excuse to call it satanic.
Yeah, I guess it's because it's like courting like the chicken soup for the soul audience, where it's like something that's very gentle and friendly. So it's like, I feel like if I could say like a Christian could play against the commercialism of it, but like, that probably isn't their audience.
I'm enjoying this next paragraph you have here.
Okay, yeah. So I just want to give an example of the Szechuan sauce madness that was going on at the time. It says, on April 11th, 1997, the first teeny beanies landed at McDonald's stores nationwide. We're getting 15 to 20, sometimes 25 calls every half hour since 6 o'clock this morning. Quote, do you have the Beanie Babies? Which ones do you have? What time are you going to start selling them? End quote. The franchise owner of a McDonald's in Elmhurst, Illinois, told CNN. Some customers ordered 100 Happy Meals and asked the cashier to keep the food. Stores received hundreds of calls per hour and set up automated recordings for anyone who called. Quote, good morning, McDonald's. We have the moose and the lamb, end quote. One Ohio franchisee instructed employees to answer the phone. Like they were not really expecting or prepared for the rush this was going to get. And like this was, they had to cancel this promotion after just a week or two because they ran out of the toys that quickly. Like they got bought out.
When's the last time something like this happened? Where something like obviously with COVID and like all the product delays, there were elements of that elsewhere. But when the fuck has there ever been like a toy that just was immediately gobbled up and now you can't fucking find them anywhere? I can't think of anything.
Yeah, like that's one of the things that's changed so much is like with online shopping, and also there's been a lot of changes behind the scenes to how like supply lines work and such. Like they're much better about making sure there's a good supply of everything when it comes out and making sure it gets where it's needed. And also like you don't have to like wait in line to the store to find out if you're getting something. You just log on to, you check your email and see if Sony emailed you about it or not. It's gotten simpler in some ways.
The PS5 had like crazy delays when that was going on. But I guess the thing right now is RAM. RAM and for a minute there it was GPUs because all of the Bitcoin miners are just buying conventional home GPUs, which is unthinkable to do that now. And now, Yeah, it's just it's RAM. We've mentioned it in the past that like the $200 of RAM that I have in my computer upstairs, it's like $800 now. It's just insane.
It's like we got Beanie Babies powering these things now.
I know, man. You would think. Yeah, it's crazy that like there was a time when people would buy a pre-built computer for $2,000 and they don't need any part of it but the GPU. And so they would just be like, whoever wants this, the rest of this, I don't need it because buying the GPU alone would be $2,200. But if you buy it into pre-built, which already existed and there's like less of a market for it, you can get that thing separate. And so like, it's the same thing with RAM now where people are just like, it's staggeringly expensive. And also RAM is used by like the actual chips to make RAM are used in like laptops, phones, smartwatches, pacemakers, fucking everything. So it's like the downriver effects of this, the AI RAM monopoly is just fucking crazy. And, I guess that's the only comparable thing that I have to the Beanie Baby devouring maw of the 1997 teeny beanie explosion. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, at least then it was just like these like goofy little toys that didn't really matter instead of like the cornerstone of our global economy and also the thing we play video games on. Anyways, yeah, to give an example of how this success is getting to the company and how it's being run, in 1997, Ty gave his employees a Christmas bonus of their entire annual salary. Like this year of explosive growth, he's like, I'm going to pay it forward. I'm going to give you whatever your salary is this year. That's what you're getting as your bonus. 1998, he gives them all the employees Billionaire the Bear. So instead of giving them money, he's like, I'm giving you a Beanie Baby. This thing's going to be worth so much one day. Like this is when he's officially getting high on his own supply.
Giving someone a Beanie Baby that celebrates how wealthy you are is like, that's a kind of indulgent evil that is almost like Dantean, like where you're like, yeah, you deserve to be punished for this. Like, I'm not saying that we should find this guy and do it to him, but I'm saying that if a god poured liquid gold down his throat, it would be just. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, God turns him into one of his own creations by stuffing him full of beans.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen the story of like the very angry stripper who her boss told her that like if you make this much money, I'm going to get I'll give you a Toyota. And she got a toy Yoda, and that was and so she worked all these hours and got a toy Yoda. And so she sued her boss for that. There's a famous picture of it. But I feel like this is kind of the same thing where it's like you worked so fucking hard making this person all of this money, and what do you get but nothing? You get this bear.
Yeah, congrats on making me all this money. It's so
exactly
obnoxious.
that.
And it's not even like cute or cleverly designed. It's like just like a generic brown bear with a little dollar sign on it. Like they didn't even give like a rhyming poem. It just says, in recognition of value and contributions in shipping over $1 billion since January 98, I present to you this exclusive signed bear.
Great. What do they go for now?
$765 is what I found.
$765. All you needed to do was wait, 28 years in order for that to work? You got $765. Great. Thanks. Thank you.
Minus shipping, yeah. And also, this he slashes commissions on the sales force from 10% to 6%. And this is also when Lena gets fired because she tried to negotiate a proper salary because she was still making $12 an hour, even though we're several years in and the website is like a cornerstone of the business.
Yeah. I mean, this guy, this is, you don't need us to tell you that this sucks and he's a bad guy. But yeah, I like... talk about not respecting the people who like made the thing what it is.
Exactly. Yeah. Just like there's so much of that, like in the business and also outside of it as well. But just like, yeah, that's the most frustrating part to me is finding out these people are, or like what I was thinking, like Chex Quest. Like I remember when they did that, like the kid who actually programmed it was literally a high schooler. And it's wild to see these giant corporations with all this money, like being like, well, we don't have to pay this young person, so we're not gonna. Like, it makes you understand why people are always pushing to try and get child labor laws repealed. Because, yeah, it's very appealing to the idea of having someone who doesn't have rights, basically.
Yeah, that's anytime that you see, oh, God, I mean, like, submit your like a contest to see like who gets to design our merch or who gets to make our commercial. And then like Doritos gets like 50 different ads made for free. They just pay one person X amount of money, and they didn't have to pay for the other 49. Anytime you see like Inked magazine, they always like, we need a new cover girl for Inked. And so then you get like 500 different women with tattoos paying to get their photos taken and then submitting them and being like, please go to ink.com and vote for me to be the new Inked cover girl. And it's like, all of that is like you are doing something for a company and they're not paying you for their time, So
exactly.
Yeah, it's sucks and is bad.
Something a little less bad. I do have a fun part here. So a great illustration of how popular Beanie Babies became was the knockoffs. So I have a little section where we're going to look at some knockoff Beanie Babies. This is a fun time. So
yeah, there's a lot of those.
Yeah, more crapulence from Ty Warner. Also, he was suing more than 30 companies per year at the peak of Beanie Babies, and his lawyers were issuing hundreds of cease and desist letters per month. Like at one point, he was basically trying to argue that they own the concept, they own the word beanie at some point. Like they got really litigious.
Yeah, I mean, Komen for the Cure tried to argue that they have rights to the color pink. So a lawyer, you pay a lawyer to say anything that you want the lawyer to say. So you can see the cocaine being transferred from one person to another, a la the sweat that gives you rashes from our steroids episode.
Like there's this amazing quote about when they're at the mall. It says, quote, Ty rounded up what he thought were knockoffs to bring to his lawyers, much to the chagrin of McGowan, who felt that he was ruining family outings. This guy's like out at the store with his family. He's like, hold up, let me get all these knockoffs. I got to sue these people. And they're like, honey, we're shopping. Come on. Like, what a picture. Yeah,
just a guy that's on a rampage.
Yeah. And now this is a fun one for you because we're getting to board game territory. I was not expecting this. My favorite weird lawsuit from the Beanie Baby peak is the Beanie Chase, a game for those who love the chase, which was an unauthorized board game by and for Beanie Baby collectors about the Beanie Chase, which is like the thrill of the hunt of finding your beanies that you're looking for.
Again, just like what I said about the website, I am not sure how. If I had to design something that looked this bad intentionally, I don't think that I could find the computer program that they used to make this, right? Because it's bizarre. Like the level of there's so much weird shit going on in here. There's zero consistency for the art style. I will not ever get the exact name of this program, or this, not even a program, it's a machine that in like the 80s, like a news program or a movie would have like the dazzling laser lights that would turn into the logo on the screen, right? Or like and it's the words right there. That was...
Yeah, the Scanimate.
Yeah. That was a standalone like a separate machine that all it did was those kinds of animations. And there's a one dude left that knows how to run it. It is very much, he's the Mechanicus. He is the Adeptus Mechanicus who knows how to run the ancient technology. It's so interesting that like that exact look that everybody has been aping for the last 10 years, trying to do like the 80s throwback stuff. They do it so much cleaner and crisper, and they add in fake little scan lines and stuff like that. But like there was a machine that did that exact graphic. It might be Scanimate if you might be right on that. I'm not 100% sure. All of that to say, like there's something about how this is designed here that is like, it is someone who doesn't necessarily have a lot of artistic skills. Maybe she did like art in high school or that had a little design thing on the side, using an early Photoshop program, like maybe like an early Paint Shop Pro or something like that, and not necessarily knowing how to use it very well. And so you get this like cluster of bad, confusing design choices that are like, it's hard to tell what's an aesthetic and what's a mistake. It's interesting.
Yeah, like all those background characters are clip art. I'm pretty sure there's like some of them from that Corel CD-ROM account that reposts stuff from them. So I think it's like the woman up front is her drawing that she's done with like a mouse and everything else, like word art or clip art. Like I'll show you the board. You'll get to see how much clip art is on the board here.
Okay. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's very messy.
It's super messy. But here, scroll up. I want to see the back of this box. Because I spent so much time. Oh my god! I spent so much time making the back of the box for my game that this is just crazy. Yeah, they just like me. They have the same small parts warning. They like a blown out photo. It is a photograph where they've cut out the background, so it's just the people in it, and they're having fun playing the game. There is so much text. It's like looking at a bottle of Dr. Bronner's.
Very.
It suddenly hit me. It's the chase. For a year, I had been getting up early and standing in line for hours to collect Beanie Babies. With 2 babies in diapers, a hard-headed husband, and a fixed income, that is not an easy task. But it's the most fun I've had in years. One day, while standing in line for beanies, I noticed everyone checking their newly obtained little treasures off their official Beanie Babies checklist. I thought to myself, this is like a game. The next morning, I woke up and I realized I had been dreaming about chasing beanies. And it just goes on and on and on with lots of caps and the registered trademark, the trademark symbol, all of these different things. And it's like, that's something that you say on the website. The back of the box should just tell me what the game is. There's quotes. It's doing so much. This is someone who's really excited and really passionate and not terribly informed about how all of this works. So
very much. Like, as you'll see, there's a little thing here. It says the quote unofficial Beanie Babies game created by Ken and Ellie Kellis. So the idea is, well, we just said it's not official. That's fine, right?
Yeah, I guess that counts, just like the Chuck Norris thing.
Yeah, so that's why they were one of the people that got sued by Ty Warner for infringing on it. So what happened was they were sent to cease and desist when the company learned about this, and they contacted them back being like, well, we already have this batch of board games made. Can't we just sell the ones we've made and promise not to make any more? And they didn't get a response, so they figured, well, that means it's blown over. Let's go ahead and do it. So they sold them after getting the cease and desist order, and then they were sued. And then eventually what ended up happening was they settled out of court, and they were like, okay, you have like 2 months to sell them, and then that's it. And so because Beanie Baby people are collectors, when they heard, oh, wow, there's this thing that they're never going to be allowed to sell after 2 months, and there's only a couple made. Once they're gone, they all sold out immediately. So, yeah, I even pulled up their old archive.org website. Yeah, a game for those who love the chase is sold out. And then she plugs her 1998 Beanie Symposium 2 booth. So there were like specific conventions just for Beanie Baby collectors.
Beanie Symposium 2. Better. I mean, it's just not the word I would use. I don't know, man. There's a lot going on in here, and I do like that they did not realize that they were just handing them this like unimaginable power of just being like, yes, but it has to be a scarce supply. That way, no one will ever want it. And then they immediately sold out of everything. I wonder what their original print run was. And who did they go through?
I think the figure was something like she spent like $100,000 on making a small run of them or something for a couple thousand. Also, this is the 90s. The prices are probably way different.
Yeah, I mean, I just did my taxes, and that's not too far off. I spent a lot of money making those goddamn games. So, okay. So here's where we're getting kind of into what I was saying earlier. Another one was the Holy Bears, a Christian Beanie Baby knockoff. God, they fucking love doing that. The 14 current Holy Bear designs are Allegiance, the God Bless America Bear, and Sheldon, which honors Charles Sheldon, the founder of WWJD, or What Would Jesus Do? That whole movement. Christians love taking a thing that's not even unchristian and then making it even more Christian, which is like this weird colonizer mindset where they're just like, everybody's drinking Mountain Dew. That means they love Mountain Dew more than Jesus. We need to make a Mountain Dew Jesus shirt. And it's like, no, you don't.
Eat and do.
Yeah. But the one that they made was Mountain Jew, and it's he's got the tablets with the 10 Commandments on it.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah, Moses, sure. Interesting.
Yeah. And so when they got threatened by Ty, they made as a fundraiser, they made a David and Goliath themed holy bear, which I think is a pretty good way of leading into the publicity.
You do have to hand them that. Yeah.
And this one, I thought this one was really cute. There was a Jewish Beanie Babies knockoff called Maccabeanies, as in like Maccabees. So like, this is like
I'll give them that.
Yeah, which they didn't get sued, but they're very funny. So I'm going to include like this is gefilte the fish instead of Thai, it's oi. That's very
Come
cute.
on, that's great.
It's the Star of David instead of a heart, and it's just, again, this is great. I love it.
Yeah, that's really that seems modern. That seems like that would be a joke that people would be doing now. But yeah,
like a very bench on the bench adjacent.
Yeah.
There's also Cantor the horse. There's like a whole line of them. It's very cute.
Yeah. Not mad about that.
Now this one is really silly. There's one called Celebrity Bears, where this one is basically skirting copyright in two ways. They are quote bears designed to remind you of a famous celebrity. So they don't tell you what celebrity they're supposed to be, but you see them and it suggests a celebrity. It's not endorsed by one. It just makes you think they are.
Fascinating. And it's all the same like cutout pattern of bears, but with different accessories. So it's just so funny that to skirt the law, they have to call them celebrity bears designed to remind you of a famous celebrity. Oh, how fucking wild. That's funny. So take me through it. I
pulled up a couple of them. Yeah, because I figured we'd have to take a look at some of these celebrities. So let's see if you can figure out who these bears are supposed to be.
There's no fucking way.
All right, I started with an easy one, so...
Jesus Christ. Okay, sure. It is a black bear with bright red eyes, a silver little bow, and then embroidered on the front is a lightning bolt that's cracking through some tombstones and a scared cat. And it just says King of Horror. So it's Stephen King. Okay. Fair.
Yeah, like that level. That's the level they are operating at. Like they have the thing embroidered on them that's basically says
it's a bootleg of a bootleg, right?
Yeah, that's what's so fascinating about this too. Like, yeah. And then, okay, so here's another one. Can you guess who this is? It's the guy in the Squirrel Squad sunglasses.
Dude. Okay, it is a panda bear with like cool, sharp sunglasses, and embroidered on its chest is a Joker. That has to be Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, it's a Jack. It's Jack Nicholson.
Oh, it's a Jack. Yeah, of course, that makes sense. So it's Jack Nicholson. Fair. Yes.
As someone who thinks about both pandas and Jack Nicholson a lot, I never would have thought that that's what he'd be, but now I see it.
Yeah, dude, same. That's funny.
Okay, this one made me a little angry.
It's an orange bear with a cowboy hat, and what does that say?
It says "All righty then," and there's a picture of a scooter on it.
So that has to be Jim Carrey?
Yeah, that's supposed to be a Jim Carrey bear. I guess the orange hat is because like he wore an orange suit in Dumb and Dumber. Like I don't remember wearing a cowboy hat, but like.
Yeah, baffling. That one, there's like I feel like a little Hawaiian shirt, maybe, or was Ace Ventura after this? I don't know.
Yeah, Ace Ventura was like the early 90s.
Yeah.
That's why this is so... It could have been green in the mask. Like, there's so many... It almost feels like they just had a lot of generic bears. Like, okay, let's customize these with our embroidery machine. This orange one, fuck, let's do Jim Carrey.
I mean, that's literally how it happens. My first pin design was... The mold was just sold to some other company, and they just started making counterfeits of it. Just like shittier versions of the pin that I made. Well, yeah, but that's exactly what you see is like, that's the reason why you can get the exact same product at it's slightly below grade. Like at I eat potato, like the little potato company potatoes all the time. They're just potatoes that were too small to sell in the bigger bag. This company comes in and buys up all the little potatoes, repackages them and sells them to Aldi. It's a perfect amount of potatoes for me. So we get those. But they're the exact same breed, you know what I mean, of potatoes that everybody else buys. It's like baby carrots are just carrots that are babies. That's all it is. They just had farmers that were like, we have all these carrots that didn't fully grow. Nobody's going to buy these in a bag. So we just started selling them as baby carrots. There you go. You know, you just use whatever. You just got to find a way to sell whatever crap you have. That's why I do the chaos packs, you know.
Then I have one more celebrity bear. So this one's a real head scratcher.
Okay, so it is a green bear in a in a plastic cage, and it has that's Oklahoma. Yeah, that's Oklahoma because it's got the panhandle because of all the slaves and that whole history. And it says bop on it, and that's got to be Hanson. It's got to be somebody from Hanson.
Yeah, that's the level of reference we're working on this here. Like, you can't copyright those two sounds.
Yeah, you can't copyright the sound of me pulling my hand out of a tight container. Yeah, or it could be the Hale Bop Comet. I don't know.
And it's now on the Spencer's gift side of things. We have the Meanie Baby.
I was waiting for that. Yeah, because the Pokemon had the Pukemon.
They all do, like, Goosebumps had Goof Lumps. Like, that's kind of like the whole thing. Like, just eat cheese and barf instead of say cheese and die. Like, yeah, the scatological parodies are very reliable.
Yeah. So it's just like uglier Beanie Babies, and now we have like those ugly dolls with like the human teeth in their mouth and all that shit. I have one of them fucking somewhere.
Like just Boris the Mucosaurus.
Yeah, Sledge the hammered head shark, Hurley the toucan, Lucky the rabbit, which I imagine is missing a foot, Fido the Dalmutation, which is a two-headed Dalmatian. Okay, these are fun. These are more clever than actual Beanie
Babies.
Babies.
The Dalmutation. That one's a little cleverer than I was
expecting. The Roadkill. One of them's Roadkill. That's pretty fucking Krieg. I'm not against that.
Yeah, the Roadkill cat. Yeah. Now, this next one, unfortunately, I have some bad news to give you. Now, like I mentioned, the inception of this episode was me sending you some bears I had found, and one of them was the end. The other one is this next one, and unfortunately, these are not actually official Thai incorporated bear products. These are a knockoff. So, unfortunately, the Columbine Remembrance Bears are not official Beanie Baby products. They are a creation of New Hope Creations from Aurora, Colorado, Remembrance Bears. But yes, a knockoff company did make numbered exclusive Columbine Remembrance Bears.
I mean, it's just a baffling decision to make. To be like, 15 kids are dead. I've gonna make some money on this somehow. It's just wild.
I'm not even gonna pretend I'm helping them in any way. I'm just saying this is help remember.
Yeah, it's use this bear to remember the time that you watched children getting butchered on 24-hour TV. Like, I don't think you need to be told to remember that. I think what you need is probably some therapy so that you won't constantly be remembering that. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I really wanted the Columbine bear, but now that I know that it's a fake, it's probably easier to acquire.
Yeah, and also, it's funny, I can tell, now I've done all this research, I can just immediately tell, like, oh yeah, the tag is a completely wrong shape, the proportions are wrong, the Beanie Babies don't come with flowers, like, now I know this stuff, I can read it. To find an actual national tragedy that Beanie Babies did partner with, in 1997, August 31st, 1997, Diana, Princess of Wales, dies. Less than 2 months later, October 29th, 1997, Princess, the Beanie Baby, is released, which part of this proceeds go to the Princess of Wales Memorial Fund, so it is officially licensed, at least as close as you can get to the Princess Diana death memorial.
I know that she had like some political import that was interesting. She was like the first person to kind of do outreach to people with AIDS. She was an interesting person who had like an internality that many of the royal family seem to lack. They have an internality, they're just evil. And she just seemed to be very much a step outside of that. I don't know her whole story. I don't really understand why it was like the Diana Memorial industry was like crystallized, right? There's plates and bears and songs and flowers and paintings, so many collectibles. Americans had whole rooms in their house full of remembering Princess Diana. That is just baffling. That even Charlie Kirk, who had a much more televised death, we saw it happen. We didn't just see the wreckage of a car. His stuff is just like, it's just like immediately a meme. And I don't know. Princess Diana just always is baffling to me.
Yeah, because I was like a little kid when it happened, so I never really had any real context for Princess Diana, the living figure. I mostly just knew about her as like the dead one. Like honestly, the movie Amelie is probably my biggest reference point for her at this point. Like not even the actual person.
I don't even did the movie Amelie have something to do with Princess Diana? I don't remember that.
Yeah, one of the plot points is it takes place in the late 90s as part where Lady Di dies, and it's like there's a bunch of people are sad about it. Like it's one of the minor plot points.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen that since like high school. So yeah, interesting.
Oh yeah. Also, just to balance out America, we did get our own memorial bear a few years later. So we don't have a Columbine bear, but we do have a 9/11 bear. America.
Well, the America bear is kind of its own Columbine bear if you think about it. But yeah, no, this is they are donating the profits to the American Red Cross. And I know that, and you don't need me to tell you this, but whenever you see a company that's saying, hey, the picture of this woman needs to clean her cuticles because those are pretty.
Yeah, I've had to see a lot of thickly applied nail polish over the past
Jesus
week.
Christ.
Get pictures of these things.
The 100% of Ty's profit from the original purchase of this Beanie Baby will be donated to the Disaster Relief Fund of the American Red Cross. Now, I know when you see that, you're like, wow, they're not taking any money from that, right? That's great. That also means that they do get to write off a large chunk of money on their taxes. So be wary. Anytime you're at the grocery store, it's like, do you want to donate $1 to the Feed Starving Children in Your Neighborhood fund? It's like all of that money is just a tax write-off, and it doesn't even feed the kids. So, yeah, it's you do not have to hand it to them. That's all I'm going to say.
And I will say, in a sort of uniquely Thai incorporated touch, they not only had one stuffed animal for 9/11, they had 3, and each one went to a different charity, and you could sort of like pick which one you wanted to support by buying them. So, also, how great is it that archive.org has the 9/11 website for Beanie Babies? Like, that's why there's the American flag. This is the actual 9/11 website. They were posting their conception of America, and also the other one is Courage, which is the one that supports the New York Police and Fire Widows and Children's Benefit Fund. He's a little canine German Shepherd, and Rescue, which is like a little Dalmatian for the firefighters. So they had competing limited edition charity things.
And that was in 2001, and I'm starting to think that like this is well into their decline. Right?
Yeah, 1999 is the year that they died, basically. Like, as that'll be the third part, probably, is exploring their downfall. But yeah, this is like when they are kind of already in the toilet. Maybe they'll be like, hey, this will turn it around. We can capitalize on this 9/11 thing.
Rough. Not just because we're looking at a couple dogs here, but Jesus. Yeah, it gets. It's absurd before the end. You know what I mean? Like it gets gross and weird as things start to fall apart, and you can kind of see like what's happening right now with, I think it was Claude, one of the AI companies, was initially going to work with the United States military, but they're like, one of our things is we refuse to let AI select and make lethal decisions. And they said absolutely not. The United States Army is like, no, we want an AI to kill people. And so then OpenAI joined in, took up that contract because they're so strapped for cash right now, and they removed the word, I think the word safely from their their company's goal. They removed the word safely because I don't know why you need to do that. Like you could just say that you did your best or something. But yeah, the OpenAI needs money desperately. And so now they're just, they're going against their original intention. And now they're going to try to make OpenAI powered, like automatic kill robots for the army. It's a cool world. You know what I mean? It's rough. Yeah.
So there's no downside to that being one of the only ways for a business to make money.
Yeah. I don't think I'm ever going to be lending my business to making kill machines for the army. But yeah, there's so many design. These websites are so fucking hideous, man.
A good note maybe to close on as well. Just while we're talking about these weird ones. This wasn't the first time they did a political Beanie Baby. In 1996, they released Lefty the Donkey and Righty the Elephant. So they were doing very like Reader's Digest style politics. So it's just like they exist.
Yep, you can. God, Righty the Elephant as presented by McDonald's And it's just like, I like the concept of republicanism, the toy for adults, for children. Content's made in China. Just kind of is a little bit too on the nose right there.
Yeah, that's very. Oh yeah, one more bit too. While we're on the subject, goth Beanie Babies. I had to check, like, are there any goth Beanie Babies? And I was very surprised. There's a Creepers the Reaper. There's a little Grim Reaper official Beanie Baby from Thai. It's one of their Halloween ones.
Jesus.
It has like a kind of little spooky poem. In your closet I will hide until the door is open wide. You may think that I'll shout boo, but I just want to play with you. Like, that's very like Cenobite almost.
Yeah,
like,
Jesus.
Wonderful sights to show you.
Yeah, and it's a very different design, obviously, from everything else, but fascinating. I didn't think that they would go there.
Yeah, that's why it stood out to me. And then there's Radar the Bat, which I showed you earlier. That's probably the reason why, the black with the red eyes.
There's no rat Beanie Babies?
There's no rat Beanie Babies at all, but there is Tiptoe the Mouse, which looks like a rat.
Mm-hmm.
So I included Tiptoe the Mouse as well. So that's our little goth Beanie Baby roll call. I figured we have had a nice digression there about different knockoffs and such. I figured, why not close with some official Beanie Babies?
May as well. All right. Thank you for listening. Please give us a review. Again, we have a Patreon, $1 a month. Hop on board, and there's like 50 hours of content for you there. All of that money goes to Jay and Steve. If you want to support me, winslowdomain.com. I've got a bunch of new stuff out. I got my game. You can go and play that. Please give it a review on boardgamegeek.com. And you can find us on Twitter at IFTIPod on Twitter. IFTIPod@gmail.com. And yeah, that's all for us. Jay, where can they find you?
I'm Jay Brandstetter on Blue Sky, and you can find my link tree in the show notes.
All right. Well, we will be back one more time for the downfall of the Beanie Baby Empire. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next week. I'm From the Internet is created by Jay Brandstetter and Winslow Domain. Edited by Steve Brown. Music by Steve Isbrook.